2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Azatec Sim Sports, Global Flicks, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.
Welcome back to the EEWC round number 4, the 12 hours of Interlagos, of which we are in the final hour. And it is all eyes on our DPI class at the moment. On board with the second place car, the number 18, currently driven by Jene Simoncic. 20.1 his last lap is Denis Zichenko with the 20.8 on the board. The gap now 10 points, now we're hovering 11 seconds. That gap has absolutely disintegrated between the two DPI cars. Now, I have been basically wondering if the 17 car can just eke out enough of a stint to do one less stop, and I don't believe they can. It's the tank just is not big enough. So how is Denis Zichenko going to play this one out? Is he going to fight Jene Simoncic, or is he going to try and save as much fuel as he can, not fight the number 18 car when it comes around, and try and do a shorter stop to try and jump Jene in the pit stop phase? That is now the question. Both cars have got to come in again. I'm pretty certain about that. I cannot fathom how on earth anybody could save enough fuel at this late stage, unless both of them do it. But the 18 has nothing to lose at this stage. They may as well just go absolutely hell for leather and see what happens. They can only finish second at this point. They'll still come away with 18 points if that is the case. Of course, they want the win. They want to be 4 for 4. So that is where we currently sit. Whilst we do have plenty of other cars that are still going, as we said earlier, none of them are involved in a battle, and actually now none of them are actually on the same map to each other. The only 2 cars on the same map in class as each other are the 2 DPIs. So that is what we need to keep. That is what we are keeping our eye on. Just keeping up with messages there. Apologies. No more race control messages, so no one else has earned themselves a penalty. As Simoncic getting very, very squiggly there. Now, looks like this lap time is very similar. Yeah, 20.3 from Ishenko last time around. Only a 10th difference. Now, did Denis Ishenko take tyres last time around? Because I wonder if his tyres were absolutely mullered, which would explain the real struggle in pace last time around. If that is the case, that both cars are now on a really, really similar pace. So as soon as Simoncic pits, Ishenko will just copy him next lap around. That's what so production just telling me that, that's exactly what Ishenko did. He took tyres last time around. Oh, this could still go either way, but could Ishenko do it? Could he fend off the advances of Simoncic? If he's now on tyres that will give him a similar pace to the 18 car, bear in mind that it looks like Simoncic has been on the test. We're fairly sure he didn't take tyres last time around, so this is a double stint. And he's still drinking and driving at the same time. Drinking water, obviously, as Darius Andre has gone for a bit of a wander somewhere. So that was Darius Andre that caused the yellow flag. I thought I saw 2 yellow flags. I didn't see who the second one was. But the number 15 has had a moment again, unfortunately. Lap times again, 20.8 for Ishenko, 20.2 for Simoncic. So half a second in Burst's favour, but there's still 10 seconds between them. Oh, Struth. This is going to really put the pressure on Ishenko. Simoncic has got nothing to lose, as we've said. This is going to pile the pressure onto Unison. They could still take the win. It is absolutely possible it will be their first win of the season. They've been third 3 times. And of course, Burst have won 3 times. So, of course, the Unison squad would absolutely love to take the W away with them this time around. If you can see by the body language of the car that Simoncic is giving this everything. I imagine Ishenko is giving it everything as well, because the recent lap times have been very, very strong as he bounces around the Gadget Husic car and catching to the back of, I'm assuming that is the Deuce's car, because that's primarily red. Yep, that is indeed. Is that still Barbosa in control of that one? Yep, Joao Barbosa's got that one, and that's an awkward position for Ishenko. 21.2 against a 20.3, and that catching that car right in the middle of the center S's would definitely have held Ishenko up, as Darius Andre's got another yellow flag. So this is what Darius Andre's been up to. So coming through Mugello. Bunchao. Oh my goodness me, how did that suddenly snap like that? A lock up of the brakes, I'm guessing, and reversing onto track. Oh, that's not ideal. That could earn the eye of the stewards. I wouldn't recommend it, is what I would say. We're back with Denis Ishenko then. Again, just keeping up with messages there. So the gap now under 8 seconds between our 2 DPI cars. Let's see if I was right. Ishenko lost a lot of time behind the back marker in the middle of the center S's. May not have lost as much as I thought he had. 21.6, so he did lose a bit of time there. What about Simoncic? 21.1, so it was only half a second difference. I think Ishenko lucked out a little bit because I would imagine Simicic got held up in the center of the way. Last time around. 50 minutes on the clock. That is all that is left. Just one more commercial break in between us and the checkered flag. That is it. That is all there is left of this race, and less than 8 seconds between our DPI pair for the class win. Who is going to come out on top this time? You can't say either of them have left anything on the table. They have pushed to the absolute limit and occasionally beyond it. Or who is going to come out on top? Less than 7 seconds now between the two, and Ishenko is catching the back of somebody. Didn't quite see who that was coming through shots. Simicic will start to see the light ahead of him. You get there soon. That's the burst car. That looks like it's Tom Aldermenger. No, it's not him. Must be the 79 axle car then. Yes, it is. That's Josh Perbian. That's Dennis is just catching up to a 21.4 for the Unison car, a 20.4 for the burst car. As the Unison car, I think, just got past the 404. Yes, he did. There's Lee Russell, he's just danced around. Simicic will start to get the impression on where Dennis is, without having to rely on. And there you can see in Dennis's shot, you saw both cars just about in the same camera angle there. Oh, this is getting close. Oh, you just saw Dennis go through the shot there, actually. There's a little flip through coming down. Oh, Simicic now on the back of Lee Russell, and that should be a straightforward maneuver there. And the next set of lights is going to be Ishenko's car. And there it is. My goodness me. We referenced the "is that Glock" moment earlier on. That's what this is feeling like. And that's more time gained for Simicic. 21.7 for Ishenko. 20.6 for Simicic. At that rate, he will most certainly be on Ishenko's case before the checkered flag falls. As now we have got the... Oh, that's close. That was looking pretty close there. That was Eros Masiuli in the Mistero Pescara car. And staying right on board with Simicic, because we'll see just small flicks of Denis Ishenko. There he is. Catching another back marker. Less than, or it's threatening to be less than 5 seconds between the two DPI cars. Whoa, Simicic! Wow, that got lively for the number 18 there. My goodness, that could have all come to grief. Can you imagine at this late stage suddenly someone throws it into the wall? But like I said, if he does, he still finishes second. So nothing to lose at this stage. Looking back from Ishenko, can't tell which car that is that he's just passed, that Simicic now has to deal with. Oh, it's the Azatec car. There it is, stays out of the way of the arriving DPI as we now see the shower of sparks coming off the back of the 17. And that's a 21.7 for Ishenko. A 20.6, I think that is. Yes, for Simicic, who's causing yellow. Don't know, disappeared too quickly. And look at that. Less than 2 seconds between them. Ishenko must definitely know that Simicic is there. Oh my word. This has been brewing for so long. And it all comes down to this. One small mistake could absolutely tilt the scales. And there it is, the battle for the DPI lead with 3/4 of an hour remaining of this 12-hour race. And both cars are still trying to snap. So one small mistake could be all it takes to catapult one of them off into the wall, or indeed both of them off into the wall if it goes that badly. But I think Dennis is going to try and give it everything he's got to keep Jene Simčić behind. We will see. But this could still come down to pit stop, because bearing in mind that, you know, Denis Zechenko has been pitting those few laps later than Jene Simčić, so that is going to make his last stop slightly shorter, because he doesn't have to take on a full tank, potentially. Now, I'm also going to keep an eye on time, because as that door got very much closed in Simčić's face there. As the burst car now gets alongside Unison, we know this has been boiling. He's going to force it to the outside line. No, he bows out of that one. He then cuts immediately underneath the Unison car. He gives himself a smile. He enjoyed that one, and that is the 18 car now up into the lead, but he's now going to come down to pit stops. So if there is 35 minutes or more remaining on the clock, then after the try that entire sentence again. If there is less than 35 minutes on the clock when the number 18 car comes in, that will be his last stop. But if there's more than 35 minutes, based on the last time they were in the pits, then he will have to do a splash and dash to the end. So look at this. So as the number 18 forced the 17 to go defensive, he then cut back underneath him, and he's already got himself a second's gap in between himself and Denis Zechenko. Is that the end of the battle? Well, potentially not. I'm going to say it could still come down to the pit stop strategy. That could still play in the number 17's advantage, because their last stop is going to be shorter. It is going to be all down to how much Denis Zechenko can hang on and stay in the tyre tracks of Jene Simčić. That is what it's going to come down to now. And Jene Simčić is proven to be ungodly quick in that car. Whoa, you see Dennis is giving that a proper four-wheel slide coming out through Laringina. And again, we've seen how many times that number 18 car has tried to snap on Jene Simčić. So anything could still happen in these last few laps. We might still get to 500. We will see. The lead car, the number 94 burst car, he's on 483 laps. We might still just hit the 500 stage. Well, anything is 1.5 minutes. Yeah, we should do. What am I on about? We should do that. So, with a face full of Ivan Aguado, Denis Zechenko has got to deal with. So Simčić has got through it, and there goes Zechenko. And that gap now 3 seconds between the two DPIs. So at the moment, Zechenko does not have an answer to that raw pace of the burst number 18. So again, on positions, the two burst cars are reunited at the top of the tree as a 1-2. The other way round from when they were first a 1-2 in this race. It was the DPI ahead of the LMP2, as you would normally expect. But as this race has unfolded, it's the LMP2 leading the way. And, that's Simčić really snarled up in this traffic. Zechenko will jump past the Gadget Husik car. As speaking of the burst, this is the 79 Axel car. They look so similar, especially in the dark. It's Josh Perbian has just got around the DIS Porsche. But it definitely costs a little bit of time for Simčić there, but not enough to bring Zechenko properly back into this fight. As we are 10 minutes away from our final commercial break of the broadcast. That's gotten squiggly for Denis Zechenko as he bears down on Darius Andre, the number 15 car. That was nearly the wall for Denis Zechenko then. And the lap times was very, very close between our two DPIs. They were 7 thousandths of a second apart in Simčić's favour. All down to the traffic management there. As we said, don't discount the 17 car just yet, because their last pit stop is potentially going to be shorter than the number 18 if they have to take on less fuel. Is it going to be enough though? This is what Yene Simičić now just really needs to throw everything at building the gap to Denis Sashenko. Burst can make it to the end. On one more stop, yeah. Oh, if they pit now, they can make it to the end. I was using 35 minutes as a bit of a guide. But yeah, it could be 40 minutes in the tank. So anytime from this point on... so they're getting to the point of crossover. So it's kind of 37, 38 minutes from their last stop with 39 minutes on the clock. So... and Simičić stretch it down to, well, I mean, by the time he comes back round this time around, there'll be less than 38 minutes on the clock. So it's a shame if Simičić pits at the end of this lap, he should just about make it, maybe with a little bit of fuel saving right at the end. And the number 94 car has handed over from Tom Menenga to Cameron Roger for the last part of the race. So Cameron Roger, we spoke to him earlier on. He will be bringing the number 94 to the checkered flag with just over half an hour remaining. Yeah, that is going to be the overall win, as they are now coming out of the pits. But of course, the two cars already behind still have to pit one more time. So Cameron Roger, assuming he doesn't have any issues, will be bringing home the checkered flag for Burst Esport number 94. Just had another message from Maria Rinhack. What you do in the final year, final hour of a race when you're tired and just waiting. She's painted her nails very different colours. I'll pass on doing that same thing if you're happy with that, Maria. But that's very fetching of you. So there's Denis Sashenko. They're now 5 seconds behind Yene Simičić. Oh, and a yellow flag for Cameron. Oh no, what's happened to him? Oh no! Is that a disconnect? Oh no! From the race lead! Cameron Rogers' car, oh no, for Burst! With 37 minutes left! The bubble has burst for the 94 car. He needs to get out there in a hurry. Oh my goodness. Oh, she painted Ulrich's nails. I thought that was her nails she painted. No, that's so Maria is painted Ulrich Hoyer's nails. Read into that what you will. Wow. Cameron Roger had a potential to bring home the overall race win, and so let's see what happened here. So we're riding on board with Cameron Roger, and just car barreled into the wall. There's no brakes there whatsoever. Now, he did say he was having a bit of technical difficulty when we last spoke to him. Oh my goodness. Wow. Just barreled into the wall. Total brake failure for the 94 for leading for so long. Yeah, I've got no words for that. Absolutely no words as we see Denis Sashenko get around Michael Pedersen again. If we can get the car back on track, he has got a 4-lap gap between himself and Darius Andre. He'll occur 1-lap penalty because he's had to rejoin, and he'll still just about be ahead of Darius Andre. Wow. He's got to get out there, though. He's got to get that car back on track. Now, it does take a period of time to get the car back on track again once it's been returned to the garage. But of course, if he's had some kind of hardware failure, he may not be able to. Oh, can you imagine all that hard work for the 94 car to then lose the class win right at the death of the race? My goodness. There's still twists in the tail yet. It's still not rolling though. The number 94 car still has not left the garage. The gap between our DPI is now over 8 seconds. And there he goes. Cameron Roger has got the car back on track. Is it enough? Now, as we know, he's going to be a lap penalty. It should be, because he's still... Yeah, it should be enough, because he's 2.5 laps ahead of the Deuces car. So he should maintain that lead. But does he have the pace? You know, does he have any brakes? Let's see if he does. Yes. He does have functioning brakes. Oh, and a yellow flag for the DIS car. Blimey, that hasn't caused a yellow flag in a very, very long time. No, so it was a rare mistake. And Simoncic is in for their final stop. So Burst are in for their final stop of the night, or the Burst Simplexity car is in for the final time. Oh, it was a steam crash for Cameron, so it was a disconnect of sorts for Cameron Roger. Oh my goodness. There wasn't a hardware failure, it was a software failure. Oh, Shenko, that was... That was a big old slide there. A full service for Simoncic. So tyres at this late stage? Or maybe he's been on the ones he's got for ages. So yeah, he probably had no choice there. Yeah, about a minute and 20 behind Denisichenko there. But in about 5 laps or so is when the 17 will be in. And there is the message from... has there been a change? Michi Hoyer is back in the... so Michi Hoyer is going to bring the car home for the last half an hour. Yeah, good spot there, production. And there was race control turning his car 94, 1 lap penalty for rejoining that, much we anticipated. They remain in the class lead by about a lap and a half. So... yeah, well recovered there for Cameron Roger. It's now down to Michi Hoyer and Denisichenko, now looking at the overall race win. Struth, how that has just incredibly changed so quickly as... oh, blimey. That's the 79 Axel car, I think. It has nearly ploughed into the back of the Chenko. And there's Cameron Roger behind the sister Burst car of Michi Hoyer. So Burst together over the line, now second and third. There is Denisichenko. Production has just made a very good point. If it's just fuel that Denisichenko needs, his pit stop will be about 20 seconds shorter. Well, no, sorry, about 10 seconds shorter than... oh, no, it will be more than that because they're taking less fuel on. So it's a part fuel stop with no tyres. Oh... he could have a 25 seconds advantage over Michi Hoyer with only half an hour to go. Oh, this is really ramping up to a wonderful crescendo as we have got Tom Mr. Sunglasses is now back on board with us. We'll have a quick chat to you before we head to commercial break. And you have indeed managed to squeeze another set of sunglasses on your head, I can see. Yeah. Well, Tom, somewhat of a dramatic end or final stint of the race for the number 94 car.
Yeah, well, it's good way to make it exciting at the end.
Very, very true. I mean, Cameron must have been somewhat surprised when he suddenly barreled off into the wall.
Yeah, like honestly, before we were just in a way playing games to stay focused. So a normal stint is 30 laps. So and you do low 21s. So the goal for me was to do 31 laps. Okay, that was easy. Let's do 32 laps. Still in the 31s. So that was all good. It was fun. And then all of a sudden it's game on and we need to push. So
yeah, because I mean you've been leading the race for absolutely ages, and suddenly in the blink of an eye, the DPIs are ahead of you. I mean you're still 45 seconds ahead of Darius Andre in the Deuces car, but that's, as you know, that one mistake could completely erode that gap.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean we lost 4 laps of a gap. So
yeah.
I guess on the other hand, it does make it more fair because Deuces, well, they had an issue. I believe it was fuel. I don't know.
Yes, they ran out of fuel.
Yeah, so they had the whole rejoin thing and 1 lap penalty, and now we do as well. So it's sort of fair, and
it levels out the penalty score for the final part of the race.
I suppose. Yeah, and also well. Good for your folks as well to have some exciting at the end.
Yeah, too right. The race has been top notch from beginning to end, but that really has spiced things up for that final push. How's Cameron feeling in this last half an hour? Is he sort of settled into his rhythm with that kind of technical problem that always kind of makes you feel a little bit uneasy? But it looks like he's getting the lap times in there. It's 22.3 last time around. Is he feeling confident he can bring it home?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. We had this big gap, so we were like, well, just relax to the end, just bring it home. And then all of a sudden, the pressure's on. So when I left the team channel, he was still sort of... well, my brain is also starting to deteriorate, but having to process what just happened and what this means now. So... let's say he's getting excited and kind of tense. So we're talking to him, just making sure that he relaxes as soon as possible and he just does his laps, because the lead is still big enough. With half an hour to go, we should be able to bring it home. So he just needs to relax and do his thing. So that's what we're trying to convey to him.
We look forward to the storyline unfolding. Thank you very much, Tom, for coming to join us one last time in the broadcast, and best of luck in the final half an hour for the number 94 car. And at that, we will now throw to our final commercial break of the broadcast. So for the last time, let's have a word from the sponsors.
2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry, NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.
Final 23 minutes of this race then of the EEWC round number 4. The 12 hours of Interlagos boils down to this last 23 minutes, and in the break Michi Hoyer in the number 18 has gotten past Denis Ishchenko in the number 17. That is the end of the pit stop for the Unison car. It looks like they took on a full tank of fuel, and that was enough for Michi Hoyer to head past and take over the lead of the race with just 22, well, it is now 22 and a half minutes to go, and so now 4-second advantage for the 18 car. We think it's going to take a bit of a mistake from Michi Hoyer for Dennis to close that down again. No disrespect, but the 18 car has been the quicker of the DPI pair all race long. So technical troubles aside, it does look like it's going to go the way of Burst. We do still have 22 minutes left to Ruth at 20.176 for Denis Ishchenko. My goodness, so he has still got pace to deploy. That was slightly quicker than Michi Hoyer. So could Denis Ishchenko close in? Well, if he's able to do lap times like that, yeah, absolutely he could do. Not being held up behind back markers, that definitely won't help. But there could well be a last-minute charge from Ishchenko to challenge Michi Hoyer. So he's pushing hard, riding on board with the number 17. So a couple of cars down the road, he's Michi Hoyer. He'd very much liked it to have been the car directly ahead of him. I'd have thought, as he looked like he was trying to understeer into oblivion. Oh, as he's gone a little bit wide coming through the Peronino and now into the Pico de Pato. That would have certainly cost him time. He's pushing hard to try and close in, and I suspect that he may have pushed a little bit too hard on that occasion. That certainly cost him time. The best he can hope for is Michi Hoyer being tangled up in traffic or something like that to slow him down. But look at the traffic that Michi's already got past. And now he's going to dance around the Musto Pescara car. And it was at 20.8 for Michi and 20.8 for Ishchenko as well. So both of them sending near identical lap times. You can see on the tower, 3.7 seconds when they cross the line. So it's still looking like it could be a dramatic finish between the two as Ishchenko gets past the Musto Pescara car now. Compromised his line a little bit coming into Desida del Lago, but nothing too dramatic. Ooh, well, don't look away just yet. We are still on for still on for a good finish. Just one of the message regarding Henrik Hoyer's nails being painted. Someone in chat just said, "Paint them purple, Maria." Why not? My goodness me! After over 11 and a half hours, we are down to just the last few laps and only 4 seconds between our lead two cars. gap has gone up a little bit in this lap, so Mitchie now clear of traffic is now pressing on and seeing what he is able to do to claim the win for the fourth win. Yes, it would be fourth win. What am I talking about? For the DPI car for Burst. My goodness, slide in the car through the center. It's a 20.2 on the board for the 18 car. 20.6 was still a very impressive lap. Slightly a few tenths off the ultimate pace there from Ashenko. My goodness. No more messages from race control. You see Ashenko at the top of the shop there. You can still see Mitchie Hoyer ahead. Oh, that was a big sudden snap there from the tail of Mitchie Hoyer. There is the DIS sim racing map. So that's the rig that their drivers climb in and out of. So hence why we don't know which driver is in the rig at the time, because it's the same account that's connected to the server. So the server doesn't know, and therefore we don't know. The great setup though. That says leet on the right hand side. I thought it said yeet, as into yeet into a corner. That would be an unusual tagline, but that would be, would explain why they've, they're 3 laps ahead of their next competitor in the GTE class. Can't take it away from DIS. They have absolutely had this in their hand all race long, and stand to score very, very well and propel themselves up the GTE field. If it wasn't for troublesome Monza, they could be in with a stronger championship challenge. It's not out of the challenge just yet, but it is going to be a bit more difficult for them, as Juices have won 2 rounds and a second at Monza, the other one going to Mugen on that occasion. Vinzichenko will, of course, still be on the podium, irrespective of which step it is in the DPI class, cementing their hold on second position. They'll be somewhere other than third. That was guaranteed at the beginning of the race. But, of course, try as they may to get that top spot, it does look like it is going to go the way of Burst Esports. Now 5.5 seconds between the two. And so Mitchie Hoyer is just continuing this raw, unbridled pace that they were able to deploy in that number 18 car. Nothing but themselves have been able to slow them down. Not even penalties, not even disconnects, etc. has managed to deny them thus far. 16.5 minutes to go, and we have hit 500 laps. Both the DPI cars have just hit that total. I did wonder whether we'd do it before the end of the race, and we have just managed to achieve it. Will our NMP brethren do it? Yes, they will. Well, certainly 2 of them will. Will the same 9 laps we can't do it? Yeah, we probably would actually. They've only got another 6 laps to do. With 1.5 minutes to go. Yes, so they should just manage that as well. There's Dennis once again. It's hovering around 6 seconds, so that gap isn't growing drastically each lap. Still a potential for the 17 to overhaul if it would rely on a mistake from the 18. That's Mitchie Hoyer, being the determined competitor he is. He's not likely to make those mistakes. And you can't take it away from Unison. They did everything they could possibly do when the Burst Esports Simplicity car encountered their troubles a few hours ago. And Denisichenko and crew did everything they could to capitalise on it, led the way in the DPI class for quite some time. But in the end, just the raw pace of the 18, that's a little bit too much for them to overcome. And again, no disrespect meant to the 18 squad either. Their pace has been absolutely unmatched all race long. In our LMP2 class, that gap now 30 seconds between the 94 Burst Esports Good Sunglasses car and the 15 Juices motorsports car that is being driven by Cameron Roger and Darius Andre respectively. Josh Perwian has done what he could in the 79 axle car, but it was 3 laps behind, so there was really nothing he could do to bring his car back into contention. Bearing in mind that the 94 car has just had that disconnect, or not long had a disconnect, and still maintains a 30-second lead with less than 15 minutes to go. You know, GTEs, it's all been about DIS. Once they got into the lead, they would just stretched away slowly but surely and maintained that lead that is now 3 laps long over the MCM car, who started more towards the back of the GTE field and have slowly made their way through and looked set to finish in 2nd place ahead of the 3 GT3 cars. 3rd place in GTs looks like it's going to go to Joel Barbosa in the Deuces car, with Uros Masciudi in the Mesto Pescara car and Michael Pedersen in the ID Sim Sports GTE, rounding up the 5 GTE cars remaining. And our GT3 cars, again, that very much belongs to Azatec Sim Sports. Once their duel with Glam Racing had ended, they just ran off into the distance, really. Although, despite Lee Russell's awesome efforts in the nighttime hours, actually the 2 GT3 rivals are actually right with one another, but there is a lap in between them. As there's Matthias Harvick with his impressive hats. He's actually returned his hat back to its original Denmark colours. He's taken off the GTR-related paraphernalia. He's stuck to the hat in several installments. Now there is the Glam Racing, or Glam Rock as I called it earlier, the Glam Racing 404 Audi. Lee Russell doing what he can. He's managed to unlap himself from the Azatec car. That's the one directly behind him. So the 2 GT3 Audis are again united in battle on the field. It would be good fun to see them have a bit of an argument, but it is not for position. Lee Russell will finish a lap, or about a lap behind Maciej Kasperczyk, unless something very drastic happens to the 585 car in the remaining 12 minutes. As the lap counts continue to roll, and that is the number 94 car that's now hit the 500 lap mark. And something's happened to Darius Andre, because suddenly that gap is up to 60 seconds. So something's happened to the number 53, or 53, wrong car, number 15, beg your pardon. Suddenly that gap is, like I said, a minute long. So that takes some of the pressure off of Cameron Roger to have to push. That was the concern that Tom Oldermanger was saying. That's what they'd have to deal with, as they've been not so much coasting, but not having to really push hard. And when you've got to suddenly break yourself out of that mentality of just bring it home, don't push too hard, to suddenly then ramp that up into you've really got to push now, especially after this length of time, is not an easy thing to do at all. So that'll probably be a welcome pressure break for Cameron Roger. There is Darius Andre. I'm not sure what he did. Yeah, he lost 23 seconds that last lap. So I would imagine he's span it some ways quite a few times in this stint. Darius Andre's had trouble keeping the number 15 pointing in the right direction, unfortunately. There's Dennis. That gap now nearly 9 seconds between the 17 and 18 DPI cars. The only thing we're missing is rain, said one of the drivers. Who's that? Oh, it was Robert Pound that said that in the Discord. Yeah, rain at this stage? Oh, can you imagine? We know there's no rain coming. Not unless summer's magically materialised. Can you imagine that? 10 minutes left of a 12-hour race and suddenly it rains. Oh, that would be fairly disastrous, I would imagine, for our drivers. Someone get out there with a hose pipe, see what they can do. Denis Shchenko as I would imagine now just settled in to bring it home. Now, these last 10 minutes will feel like an age. You've gone through all the preparation, all the practice, all the tactics, all the discussions, all the setup work. You managed to get through the race, and then that final 10 minutes, the checkered flag is almost in touching distance, and it will feel like the longest 10 minutes of your life. Oh no, Zashenko's gone round as we were watching him. There's the fatigue really kicking in. It's taking his eye off the ball, and no damage caused, no harm in that one. That's up. That is up past Ferriger and Marangina, up into the S's, and round it went. That was the spot that Alistair Young really struggled with this M9 axle car. I think Denis Zashenko is really feeling it now. There's the highlights from the last hour reel now kicking in. And very much cements the number 18 car in the top spot of the DPIs. That was when Dennis went for a bit of a wander on the exit of Desili de Lago. And then you've got the Glam Racing Audi along with Darius Andre. It's a rather close move, or it looked rather close to us, but it may not have been that close to them. That's the thing, the off-board camera can often not show fully how close cars are, or exaggerate how close they are. But as a natural fact, there's plenty of room from the driver's perspective. And then we had the side-by-side of the two DPI cars as their pit stop strategies were being played out. I think if Dennis had gone for a lighter load of fuel, that would have brought him out in time to potentially challenge for the win. But that half spin now kicking in, would that have undone the advantage? We'll never know. And there is, I think, one of Darius's spins. There have been quite a few, unfortunately. And that brings us to 7 minutes to go. No one really is going to be able to challenge Michi Hoyer at the top of the DPI tree, and Cameron Roger has backed off a little bit, has gone into bring it home mode. That gap has come down, but it's 57 seconds, and unless he stops, there's not really going to be a chance for Darius to challenge for the LMP2 lead, and that's how the DPI lead changed hands. And once Michi Hoyer got that lead for that great undercut move on Denis Zashenko, it was good night Vienna, and off he went. As the race continues into its very closing stages, what was seemed to have had a stuck camera on Cameron Roger. The race is still continuing. The production will overcome the problem. That's not what we want to see. There we go. That is definitely what we want to see. Michi Hoyer doing his thing up front for DPI. Apologies there, ladies and gentlemen, as one of the production machines decided it's had enough. Well, you've quit slightly too early. It's still 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes, 5 laps, give or take, remaining of this amazing Interlagos circuit. All the LMP2s have now made it over 500 laps done. Gives me 500 laps. Is what we have enjoyed here at Interlagos. And the Michi Hoyer looks set to bring it home for the DPI category. With Cameron Roger for Burst. So Burst looking to take both the LMP2 and DPI class wins. And DIS still very strong of the GPUs. Maciej Kasperczyk looking to take the GT3 crown by just under a lap, as Lee Russell has unlapped himself from the grip of the Aztec Synsport car. And now we get technical trouble. Again, apologies for the technical trouble. Gremlins just decided to pester us, hopefully for the final time, with less than 5 minutes left. So, what an incredible race we have had. The drivers have done a superb job in keeping everything going. Keeping their teams, keeping the cars on the straight and narrow as best they can. And still, we remain with only one retirement. Fantastic stuff. And still, we see attempts to better their position, so no one's really just given up. People may be settling into the positions, thinking, okay, I just need to bring it home, but still trying to get through the traffic as best they can. It's the overall win still set to go to the number 18 car as he catches the back of Darius Andre for the final time. So we should have about 3 laps left when Mitchie crosses the line one last time. Oh, for the next time, I should say. That sentence made no sense whatsoever. Let's see when he crosses the line how much time it is on the clock. About 3:15 or so. Be enough for 3 more laps. Well, I don't think Mitchie Hoyer is going to slow down and give us a last-minute showdown between himself and a Unison car. It'll be a bit too much to ask for that. Because he's still behind. Oh no, yellow flag's gone out there. That's for Cameron Roger. Oh, that's the LMP2 leader. Has Cameron Roger had another technical failure? No, he is going again. But he did lose about 20-ish seconds to Darius Andre. So are we still facing trouble for our LMP2 leader? How much time did he lose? Yeah, it was 11 seconds he'd lost on his best time. So it was 31.8 last time around for Cameron Roger in the burst number 94. So there could still be trouble brewing, would you believe? Here comes Mitchie once again. Penultimate lap, the white flag. No, white flag's the last lap, big button. So the penultimate lap is about to start. Sparks aplenty. Looks like Mitchie's back off. Yeah, 22-1 on the board. Doesn't need to push. It's 15 or so seconds back to Denis Sachenko. Doesn't have to do anything silly. Just has to bring it home now. Mitchie's showing his pit out for some reason. It's like he's just moved the pits. He hasn't. As we know, as we've been watching. That must have been a bit of a scary moment for Cameron Roger. We didn't see what the incident was, but it would not have been nice facing a yellow flag in the final few minutes of the race. Down past Mugello. I beg your pardon, throw down through Peronino. There is Cameron Roger. There's our burst pair, NMB2 and DPI leaders. Both on their penultimate laps. As Mitchie will come across the line, be greeted by the white flag to indicate the penultimate lap, the final lap has begun. No one anywhere near his tail. This is it then, the final lap of the race. Mitchie Hoyer has now begun. 1 minute 20 will be when the checkered flag is out. And Darius Andre has now fallen behind the number 18 car to do one less lap than he would have done otherwise. Can't blame him for that. Cameron Roger still with a 41-second lead over Darius Andre. And the GTE lead is still 3 laps good, and the GT3 lead is still just under 1 lap between Kasprzyk and Lee Russell. Oh, yellow sector 3, who is that? I'm not sure who that is. That might be Kasprzyk? No. He's going again. Not sure who that yellow flag is for, as I'm not seeing who that is on the timing screen. But that is not going to worry this man. So the checkered flag is now ready. The timer has hit 0. As Michi Hoyer dances up to the back of the MCM car for the final time. The burst car, I thought the burst cars were coming over the line in tandem there. That's the 79 axle car. So then, your winner here for the 12 hours of Interlagos is the number 18 of Burst Esports. Loss of the flash of the lights and a destroyed car behind by Darius Andre. Burst have taken the top spot in DPI. Darius Andre has come home second in LMP2, so the top honours cannot be denied now to Cameron Roger. I would imagine he's smiling about that. Yes, he is. I can see. So Denis Ishenko, valiant effort from Unison, and a second place it remains. A great effort for them. Cameron Roger will take the top spot in LMP2, with Josh Pervian taking the third spot for 79 Axel. The DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche is going to take the top honours in GTE, along with Maciej Kasprzak for GT3. My goodness. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. 12 hours of Interlagos is now done, as the last of our cars come over the line to complete their races. And a very well done to everybody taking part in the race. Oh, it has been a great pleasure to cover this race for everybody. Thank you very much to our production staff for seeing through the technical gremlins and getting us through to the final. Look at that, a nice side-by-side there. That's the burst cars that are side-by-side, flashing their lights to absolute oblivion. Fair play to them. Well done to all of our drivers taking part in this race. It has been a great pleasure to commentate over you all. Of course, we always have to thank our sponsors for making it possible for us to host the EEWC. And also a thank you to our race control for making sure the rules are obeyed and keeping us informed of any penalties to be applied. I'm going to bring this one to a close, as it's 1 o'clock in the morning here in the UK. But it's been a great pleasure to commentate this race for you guys at home. We hope you spectators have enjoyed it, either live or post-event. We will see you next time when we head over to, I was going to say Sebring, but we've already been there. Where are we next time? It's Spa, of course it is. And that's when we have our 24-hour races. So join us in the Ardennes Forest for when we take on round 5, the penultimate round of this year's EEWC. We thank our drivers. We thank you all. We'll see you next time. Until then, thank you very much and good night.
The 2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.